Let's get criminal defense attorney Sara Azari into this tonight. She's also been following this trial very closely. Sara, the President Joe Biden, said, quote, "I stand by what the jury has concluded. The jury system works and we have to abide by it," end quote. Given the evidence, as an attorney, was not guilty the right verdict?
Absolutely, Chance. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of personal and political feelings around this verdict. And there, of course, this is a high-profile case, but there is in every case. There's two sets of starkly different emotions: the defendant who is relieved, who's got his life back, and then, of course, the victims and the community who are just up in arms over it. But ultimately, it's about the application of the law to the facts. And we might not like the laws. We might need to change the laws, but the law is the law as it stands. And I think this jury did a very good job at following it. It was very confusing. There was, over 30 pages of jury instructions. The judge made it worse. There were, complex set of facts. The idea of self-defense and then provocation, and then, even with the provocation, did he have a way out? Did he exhaust all remedies? It was very confusing. And they did a very diligent job. And if you remember a couple days ago, they watched the videos, like half a dozen videos, frame by frame, because they were double checking to see the circumstances. So I think this was absolutely warranted.
I want to get to one of those technicalities you just alluded to there, because it escaped my attention at first. The family of Anthony Huber, one of the men killed by Rittenhouse, they said this in part today, quote, "It sends the unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town, incite violence, and then use the danger they have created to justify shooting people in the street." I should point out that Rittenhouse says that his father lives in Kenosha, his grandparents' extended family. I guess he had a job there at one point. I've heard it reported that he was there prior to all this. But still, Sara, based on this verdict, did the jury believe that Rittenhouse provoked the violence?
No, Chance, that's really interesting, because the whole time I was wondering, what is this jury going to, what would be the definition of provocation for this jury? Is it going to be through a broad lens or a narrow lens? If they looked at it like him being in Kenosha, putting himself in the middle of chaos with a gun strapped to his body, that's a broad view, and he would have provoked just by being there. But clearly they didn't look at it that way. They looked for provocation with respect to each incident of shooting, each man shot. Did he do anything to bring about the threat by these men that he then responded to with self-defense by shooting? And clearly they decided that he did not.
At this point, how ironclad, how expansive are self-defense laws?
Self-defense is, in a situation like this, it's really almost the only defense, and we usually have to put our clients up, even though it's not the ideal thing to have have a defendant testify. But I think all laws are subject to change. Laws are created, society responds, incidents happen, and until something goes. I don't want to say wrong, because I believe this jury was correct in the verdict. But until something happens where there's an attention brought to maybe defects in that law has no reason to change or be changed. So yeah, all laws I think are ironclad until attention is drawn to defects in the laws.
I see. It's really interesting what you say, though, Sara, that some of these definitions, even when they're written into actual law, that they can be accordions. They go in and out, and it's how you look at them.